In Perashat Yitro, at the beginning of the Perashah, there is an interesting discrepancy in the ta'amim. I'm going to read the first pasuk. Vayishma Yitro chohen Midyan choten Moshe et kol asher asa Elohim leMoshe uLYisrael ammo. There it is. Look at the way Moshe, who's the leader of the Jewish people, is separated from Yisrael. So, Asher Asa Elohim leMoshe, period. Ul Yisrael, Ammo, two separate entities. And then, a few pasukim forward, in pasuk Het, ויספר משה לחותנו את כל אשר עשה אדוני לפרעה ולמצרים על עולות ישראל. Now you notice it's the exact same thing. את כל אשר עשה אלוהים למשה. Here it's את כל אשר עשה עמוני, but it's לפרעה ולמצרים. Connected. Interesting. Again, כל אשר עשה אלוהים למשה. Here it says Elohim, there it says Ammonai, whatever reason, that's a different shi'ur. But here I want to focus on LeMoshe, stop, and then Wul Yisrael. Why does it say LeMoshe, Wul Yisrael, all right, or LeMoshe, Wul Yisrael, Ammo? It doesn't say that, it says LeMoshe, Wul Yisrael, Ammo. And here it's Lefar'o Misraim. Because among the Goyim, in tyrannies, today, what political system is not tyrannical? Because a tyrant wants to control the way you think. It's not enough that you're subservient to the tyrant, but you have to accept the narrative that the tyrant presents before you. This is why in the Soviet Union, the KGB used to have total control over the information that people were allowed to publish and that people were allowed to read. If somebody published the wrong information, an opinion that was different than the narrative provided by the Soviet authorities, of course that person would be arrested and sent to Siberia. So for tyrants, it's not enough to control your physical body. They want to control your mind. And they tell you, this is what you're allowed to think. This is what you're allowed to say. If you don't think in accordance with the narrative, we will cancel you. And of course, nobody wants to be canceled. So in tyrannies, the nation is completely subservient to the tyrant. They were just an extension of the will of the tyrant. And that's why the pasuk, when it talks about Misraim, it says, Et kol asher asa Adonai lefar'o leMisraim al odot Israel. You notice Paro Misraim, because Misraim was an extension of Paro, because Paro was a tyrant, and they had to accept him, and they did accept him. The Goyim are very submissive to their tyrants. There's a great book by Eric Fromm. It's called Escape from Freedom. In this book, he shows that people want to escape from freedom. People don't want to be free. People want to be told what to think, not just what to do, but what to think. That's why dictatorships like Germany, and he talks particularly about Nazi Germany during World War II, that's why these dictatorships are so successful. People don't want freedom, because with freedom comes responsibility. And with responsibility comes, I may fail, I may succeed, I have to face the world using my own mind and my own intellect, and I have to make decisions, and that's tough. So people don't want freedom. But the Torah insists upon freedom. And even the greatest leader, even Moshe Rabbeinu, he gives us the Torah. We accept the Torah because the Torah comes from Hashem. Moshe is the Shaliach. He's Rasul Allah. He's the Shaliach to give us the Torah. And yet the Jewish people are independent. and yet the Jewish people think independently. When we receive the Torah is black letters on white parchment. We have to supply the vowels. We have to supply the ta'amim. We must interact with the text independently and understand what is the text saying, right? Now, it doesn't mean it's a free-for-all, of course. We have the Masorot, we have the Berit, we are bound by the Berit, we are bound by the Emunot that we have to adhere to. But within the context of the Tarag Mitzvot and within the context of the Yod Gimel Ikarim, there is the possibility of new ideas, of new chidushim, right? En midrash belo chidush. Every bet midrash has chidush Torah in it, right? And that's the point. Et kol asher asa Elohim leMoshe u'Yisrael amo. You see the disconnection there, and you see the juxtaposition of Pharaoh Mitzrayim and Moshe u'Yisrael amo to teach us. Yes, there was nobody greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. And Moshe Rabbeinu was the shaliach that got the Torah from Sinai and gave us the Torah. And we studied the Torah and we entered into a covenant based upon the mitzvot in the Torah. And lo nasur yaminu small from the Torah. But together with that, the Jewish tyrant never tells you how to think. The Jewish tyrant gives you the Torah and he says, you open the Torah and you now read the Torah on your own because you have some chidushim, you have some unique perspectives. Tell me the chidush.